Hey everyone, it's Daunter. Now, 10 months ago, oh my god, it's almost been a year. Wow, that's crazy. 10 months ago, I uploaded a series of videos talking about my favorite illustration rares, ranking them. Now, I don't really go in these things with the preconception of like where I'm gonna kind of stop and where I'm gonna end. Today, I'm just gonna be working on the first two main sets actually, just the promos and Scarlet and Violet base set. Those are the only two that I'll be working on today. This includes Chinese promos. This includes like specific any promos, like promos that we didn't get in Japanese, stuff like that. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff packed into this video in terms of just like the promos alone. And I've got S, A plus A, B plus B, C, D. And these are going to be kind of long videos, so if you aren't subscribed to the channel, my name is Daunter Collects. I make videos about Pokemon cards, and I would highly recommend that you subscribe to the channel because I am pretty informative, and I think I would appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 700 subscribers by the end of the month, so if that could be something that's feasible, something that's achievable, that'd be wonderful. But, you know, enough dilly-dallying. Let's just get straight into it, right? Firstly, we're going to have the Rhydon by Akira Komiyama. This card is really nice. I love the kind of stars in the background. Oh yeah, by the way, I know this is a remake of a video that I previously did, but I might have some new opinions. Also, I'm a little bit more like analytical than I was before. In my opinion, I think like I've grown a little bit in terms of that state. So I think I have a better sense of like what opinions I'll have. Also, I think I have a better mic. And I'll put some like better music in the background or whatever. Anyways, Rhydon by Akira Komiyama. I really love how the moon, or is that like this, I don't know, it's like the moon, the futuristic moon in the background is displayed as like this very nice like kind of whitish pinkish object. It makes it definitely gives the card a different vibe for sure. You know, you have those purple highlights on the palm trees. I feel like it's a pretty like common thing for most artists to use those to represent like a futuristic theme. And I think it works really well on the card. And I really love like how you have the radio, you have the plant in the foreground, and you have also the Pokemon, which is kind of like outside the main window. It's a great idea, executed really well, and I think it's going to be a first A+ tier card of the video. Next is going to be the Koraidon by Mina Nakai. This card is pretty cool, actually, all things considered, because it is a different perspective, right? You have the Pokemon in its past kind of form. It is the perfect, like one of the perfect representations of the Pokemon, in my opinion. So for an illustration rare, it's just really well done. I love how you can kind of see into Area Zero there with like the waterfall kind of showcasing like the fact that it's just like a bottomless pit almost. The way that the Pokemon sleeps in the foreground is really nice, and you have like this very nice like kind of green ring around the entire card, just showcasing that like lush jungle kind of ancient feel, which is really well represented as well. I think we're starting off pretty strong with two. I think they're both A+ tier for different reasons. I think they're both really good representations of their respective Pokemon. Next is going to be Pikachu by Atsushi Furusawa. This is a very nice looking illustration. You know, you have the starting little house from the Paldean kind of life there. The way that the sun kind of beams down is nice, and all the starters are represented pretty perfectly. Pikachu has no real relevance in this card. I mean, like, obviously it's a great idea to have Pikachu in it, but like in terms of just like the Scarlet and Violet games, Pikachu's not there, so I get that it's just like a promo, but like, I don't know, like it thematically is not as succinct, I guess, because Pikachu has nothing to do with the starters. Just in terms of the fact that obviously it's just a popular Pokemon. So I just threw it in an A tier, maybe a B+, actually. I would say it's probably not one of my personal favorites out of all of them. Next is going to be the Charmander by Minami Namitake. This card is really cool. Obviously, it's a set of 3 cards, so we're going to be getting to the other 2 later, and probably not in this video. It's really cute, though. I love how Charmander's looking out of the window. I love all the plants. I like how there's 2 different Pidgeys. You have one like looking straight into the window, and then you have the other one who's kind of like sitting on the, what's this called, like a little terrace? Is that the correct word? Looking in at the Charmander. I like how the blinds are kind of like uneven, showcasing like a pretty realistic kind of idea of what blinds are usually like. They're pretty annoying typically. All the plants are very nicely done. I like the variety of colors. You have some yellow, you have some purples, you have some pinks. Obviously really well done. Very great promo, and like nothing bad to say about it. I'll put it in A tier. Next is going to be the Snorlax by Golsan. This card is really cool. I love how you have like the kind of idea of the roadblock Pokemon blocking a road for a Pokemon. Like Diglett. I mean, Diglett could, honestly, all things considered, it could probably just like burrow underneath Snorlax, but whatever. And then you also have Pidgey as well. Snorlax is sleeping in the middle of the road. It's got like a good idea. I like how it's kind of showcases how hilly the area is, with it's like kind of going up and then down and up and down, kind of like showcasing that is really really well done. It's very like easy to tell what's going on. I like how the trees are illustrated as well. It's very nice overall. I have nothing to complain about it. I'll put it in A tier as well. I like it a lot, honestly. It's really good. Next is going to be the Mewtwo by Buntujo. This card is really cool. I think what I like the most about this card is just the perspective, like how you have like all the buildings kind of like sprawn out here, strewn out here, and the way that the street is drawn is really cool. I love how it's like very I don't know, it's very perspective heavy, which I really appreciate. All the buildings are super detailed. Mewtwo itself looks really cool. He's just sits like flying up there ore farming. It's really cool. It's great. I don't know, I like it a lot. I'm gonna probably put it like A tier. I think I like it a lot, but I don't think I actually like it as much as these two, which is probably different from my previous opinion. Next is gonna be the Scream Tail by Ghidorah. I actually really like this card. I love how like colorful it is. I love how like the Pokemon is screaming outwards. You know, the way that it screams kind of creates these ripples in the water, which is really well done. I love the plants in it. I love how it's got like this kind of warping effect done to some of the aspects of the card. I think overall that's a really great idea. Again, just executed really well, and it's a like a pretty perfect representation of the Pokemon. I'm gonna put it in an A+ tier. I really like it a lot, honestly. Next is gonna be Iron Bundle by Chizuru. It's just the Pokemon running on like a little icicle here. The trees, obviously, really well done. You have them very nicely blended in with the background. With like the cliffs. That's a pretty cool idea. I don't know if we're in like inside of Area 0 or something. That's not very clear in my opinion. I can't really tell if we are or if we're not. Iron Bundle running on ice. I mean, I guess it is kind of similar to like what you would expect. But I don't think it's as visually succinct as the this one right here, the Scream Tail. I'm gonna put it like B tier. It's alright. I don't hate it, but like I just wish it was a little bit more like thematic, I guess. Next is going to be the Mimikyu by Mitsuhiro. This is shiny Mimikyu, which is pretty dope. I like how the trainer here, the old lady, is drawn. She's very nicely detailed. I like the basket with like the sewing materials, and I like the quilt. That's very cool. It's got a good vibe, very visually succinct, and like it has a very clear idea, which is executed really well. And I also love the window that opens up into like this very lush kind of landscape here with some very cool flowers. Like even in the small areas, there's very nice heavy detail, which is really great. Pretty expected from Mitsuhiri's artwork, honestly. I like it a lot. I'm gonna put it in A tier though. I think that's fair, like top of A tier. Next is gonna be Pikachu with Gray Felt Hat by Naoya Kimura. Obviously, this is a reference to Vincent Van Gogh, so it's not very, you know, I mean, it is really creative and really well done, but at the same time, it is still just inspired by some like an actual artist. I would say that it's pretty well done. Like in terms of just like the reference to the original artist, I think that that's a very great idea, which is executed really well. And I have no complaints about that. In specific. And I know that it's a reference to like the portrait, right? So it's kind of like this is what it's supposed to look like, right? It's hard to rank this because it's just like it's very different in terms of a promo. It's not my favorite though, surprisingly enough. I think that I prefer Naoya Kimura's regular style, so I think I'm putting it in C tier, just because I don't know where else to put it, honestly. Next is going to be the Pikachu, third Pikachu promo. It's actually probably my favorite out of the three. It's drawn by Sayano Misaki. I really like it. I love how Sprigatito's drawn, very cute. I love how Pikachu's drawn, very cute, and I love how they're in like a flower field. It's a little bit more like like I feel like this is more like a better environment, you know? Because I feel like for the Paldean starter house, like the beginning house, it's like kind of like only the starter Pokemon really are in that area. But you know, you could put any Pokemon in the field, and I think it works really well. Obviously these are the Pokemon featured in that collection box that it was part of, so I think that that's fair. I think people like Tandemaus. I think people like Palmont, for the most part. I don't know. People definitely like Sprigatito, but I like it a little bit more, but not like a whole lot more. I guess I was just talking about how much I like it, but I'm only gonna put a little bit above. Next is gonna be Fluttermane by Takumi Wada. This card is really cool. There's some sort of like meteor or like some sort of like fireball flying down from the sky. Well, the way that that's represented is perfect. I love how like very nicely detailed it is, and I actually really like how Takumi Wada drew the grass here. Very sporadically, very like stringy in a way, which is really well done. Like I don't know, Takumi Wada just has this really beautiful sense of style that's very effective, and I think it's succinct. Like you can tell what's going on. There's like fireballs flying down from the sky as the Pokemon kind of like flies away. I don't know. I think it looks really really cool, really really good. I'm gonna put it in A+ tier. I like it a lot. Next is gonna be the Iron Thorns by Tonji Matsuno. This card is nice, but I think it suffers a lot from like not having any idea of where the Pokemon is. The sun in the background is very, very nicely done. Obviously, it's a beautiful illustration, so I don't have any. And there's no illustrations that I don't think are beautiful, but this one is just more like I don't know like where he is. I don't know what like the idea is behind it. Maybe I just don't understand. Maybe it's like something that other people do understand and I don't understand. This is gonna be the first D tier card of the video though, just because like I don't know the idea behind it, and I think that that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just wish I knew the you know, well, like whatever the reference to this was, or just you know, I don't know, like Iron Thorn standing in front of the sun in an open barren desert is just not something that I expected. Maybe, like even just like a single tree in the background would have added something for me, but it's still a beautiful illustration, right? Next is gonna be the Teal Mask Ogerpon by Kodama. I really really like it actually. I love how it's running in the fields, which is like very representative of the Teal Mask DLC, so that's perfectly done. Very very good environment, very very beautifully drawn Pokemon. I love how the sunlight kind of flies down on the Pokemon. Shading is obviously really really nice here. You know, you do have some trees in the background, which is nice. On the right side, you have like a nicely done tree. On the left side, you have a field of trees on a mountain. So just very very distinct, very very easy to tell what's going on in the card, and I think it's an A+ tier card actually. I really like it a lot. This one, yeah, I'm gonna move everything like when I'm done with the tier list, but for now it's gonna go there in A+ tier. I really like it. Next is gonna be the Petrunt by Nagimiso. This card is alright. I like the heavy sense of purple in it. I think that that's a good idea because it's, you know, Petrunt, the purple Pokemon or whatever, mythical. It's okay. I like the way that the river kind of flows down at the bottom there. So it's probably not my favorite, to be honest with you. I feel about this the same way that I do about the Iron Thorns. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest with you. I don't know. Like, the forest idea is a pretty cool idea, but I don't know. Like, I like the illustration. I think it's a nice illustration, but it's just not one of my favorites. Next is going to be the King Gambit by Oku. This card is really, really nicely drawn, for sure. The effects all around it are really, really well done. I love the moon in the background. That's a really, really great detail that I'm glad was included because it's just such a small detail, but it adds so much. The way that the trees are super, super, like, twisty and bendy is really, really well illustrated as well. Kind of evoking that, like, ancient, traditional Japanese style, which is very well done. I have put it in, like, B+ tier. I really like it. But I feel like the ones that are higher just have a little bit more to talk about. No, actually, I'll put it in A tier. I like it a lot. I'm gonna put it like right here, right above the Snorlax. That's fair. Next is gonna be the Noctowl by Tetsukayama. This card is really cool. The idea behind it is really, really well done as well. You have the Pokemon who's like hoarding a bunch of different trinkets and materials inside of its nest, which I think is a perfect idea for an owl, you know, in the way that it's framed inside of the tree as we're looking out is also very, very nicely done. Creative, you know, I think that that's a good idea. And owls are obviously very, very like well intertwined with this idea of sitting inside the holes of trees, which is very, very nicely done. The branches in the background also add something to the card as well. I think that overall it's a very, very creative illustration that, you know, uses everything that it can to make this Pokemon seem interesting. And I think that it's framed in a way where it's very interesting. Next is the Magneton by Shinji Kanda. This card is pretty cool. I love how it's drawn for sure. I love how like detailed it is with like these sparks, like the triangles, not triangles, but like the stars, the sparks, the stars, the waves. You know, everything about it is super, super detailed, super, super nice, obviously. And I think that people will like this card a lot. I'm gonna put it in. I don't know if this is controversial, but I'm not gonna put it super, super high. I'm not gonna put it in S tier, honestly. I really like it. But I mean, I just like it a little bit more than the Snorlax. Actually, the Snorlax has a better idea than I'm gonna put it in B+ tier. And I think that's fair for my opinion. But if you don't agree with that, then feel free to let me know in the comments below. And by the way, if you have any differences in opinions, feel free to let me know. Like I don't mind. I don't mind a little bit of discussion as long as you're respectful. That's all that I ask. It's nice. So next is gonna be the Eevee by Makuro Tami. I think this card has a lot more personality. I love how like Eevee looks in the card, very, very cute. You know, kind of like running around sleeping. You have different portraits and pictures and frames of Eevee there, which I think is a great idea. Some plushes all around as well. Just a very creative idea, just Eevee sitting in the house. I think that's a very, very well done illustration. I like it. Kind of reminds me of some of the other cards that we got in A tier, which is, you know, I mean, fair to put in an A tier. Yeah, I like it. Next is going to be the Zora, N Zora by Megami Mizutani. It's pretty cute. I like N in the card. I think N is drawn very, very nicely. They're kind of in some sort of like just plain field, which I wouldn't say isn't my favorite. It's not my favorite environment. Zora was very cute though. I like how it's getting scratched. It got a little bit of personality for that. But I don't really care for the environment too much, and I like the environment in the Pikachu. So I'm just gonna put it in B tier for now. Next is the Team Rocket's Wobbuffet by Saboteri. I've sung this card's praises plenty before, plenty, and I think that it's probably one of my favorite cards in the Scarlet and Violet era, to be honest with you. You know, the more that I look at it, the more that I like it. The fisheye lens is done really, really well here. I think that the vents on the roof there are also really, real well done. You have a Persian neon glowing light, which is well done. You have the windows, which didn't need to be included, but are included and showcase some buildings in the background, which is it's super, super crazy attention to detail. A vending, not a vending machine, but like a cooler on the right side. Obviously, all the Team Rocket grunts have a lot of personality. Drowsy, Sneasel, you know, some chips or whatever. A portrait of Giovanni. Like, what is there not to like about this card? It's perfect. Like, it's got a perfect environment, perfect. It's executed perfectly in my opinion. I love it. It's really great. Marnie's more Pico. This card is nice. I think the environment is actually nice in this card because I think it represents. It's like the Spikemuth thing, right, from Sword and Shield. I'm pretty sure. I like how there's like a Sableye neon light in the background. That's really, really cool. Obviously, more Pico is really cute. I love how the fence is detailed with like those pink highlights, which is really, really well done. Obviously, Marnie's illustrated nicely too, illustrated by Susumu Mea. I think this is a really, really great looking card, and I actually really like it a lot. I'm gonna put it in A+ tier because it's got a succinct environment. It's got great like colors. I don't have anything to complain about it. I'm gonna put it like at the top of A+ tier. I really like it a lot. Then we also have the Stevens Beldum by Hungry Clicker. This one is a little bit less interesting, I would say, in terms of like the environment, but the illustration itself is still captivating. Obviously, Steven is drawn really, really well. I love how like angular Beldum is with like that very, very nice shading to distinctify like every single individual aspect of the Pokemon. I think that's really well done, and I love how Beldum is like smiling or happy or whatever. I think that's a really great idea. But I don't think it's quite as like impactful as the Morpeko, which doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm gonna put it in like A tier, but just not A+ tier. You know, that's where we make the distinction there. I like it just as much as the Mewtwo. I like it a lot. Next is going to be the Meowth promo by Uninori. This card takes place inside of one of the Pokemon towns from Red and Blue. It's the one with Misty's gym, right? Cerulean City. Is that what it is? I might be wrong on that. If I am, that's fair. You can make fun of me for that in the comments. But yeah, it's cute. I like Meowth in this card. Uninori obviously has that kind of semi-vintage style, which works really well for this idea of like illustrating a Gen 1 Pokemon. So obviously you have some really, really great colors, really, really great card overall, and a very, very great idea paired with the perfect artist. So like, I have nothing to complain about it. I think it's actually S tier. I really like it a lot. I think that it's probably one of the least like talked about cards in the Scarlet and Violet era, but it's definitely one that I appreciate a lot, honestly, because it's perfect. You know, they really picked a perfect illustrator for this card, and I think that that's something that isn't always done for illustrations, but when it is done, it makes the card even better for it, you know? We have a promo Wooper by Okacheke. This is Paldean Wooper. It's very, very cute. I love how there's a Pokemon Center in the background. I like how the Pokemon's staring at the camera. I like the colors. I like the, you know, foliage and stuff, and it is a spot from Scarlet and Violet, the game, so I think that that makes it a little bit more interesting. I like it. I think the environment is good, like I said. I'm gonna put it in like A tier, maybe. I have a lot of cards in A tier though. I like the Mewtwo a little bit more, maybe. But I actually really like that card a lot. And it has a lot of personality too. Next is the Pikachu promo by Oswaldo Cato. This is the one featuring Mew. I don't care for this one as much as some of the other ones that they have. But obviously it's still a beautifully drawn card. I love like the Pokemon that are featured in the card, Mew, Pidgey, and Oddish. I think that that's a great idea. I like the way that it's like jumping out in the distance. It's okay. Like I would put it like right here, maybe below the how they evolve Pikachu. It's pretty. I'm gonna put it in B tier actually, top of B tier. Next is going to be the Pikachu with Psyduck. I like this card a lot more, actually. I like the way that it's illustrated even more. Like, I don't know. I think there's something about it that it appeals to me a little bit more, the way that Pikachu is drawn. I like the way that, like, Pikachu's a little bit, like, slimmer, smaller. Dragonite in the background. And it's just got a little bit more personality, I think, which is just better overall. I like it a little bit more than the how they evolved Pikachu, but, like, B+ tier for sure. Next is going to be the one with Gengar. This card is really cool. Obviously, I know this card is like super expensive. I don't care. I literally don't care. That has nothing to do with my ranking of this illustration. So by the way, like if you are like somebody who can't get your hands on this card, I'm really sorry because like this card deserves to be owned by everyone. All Pokemon cards deserve to be owned by everyone in my opinion. But this card is very nicely done. It's got like a really great sense of like style in terms of just like the fact that Gengar is so big and Pikachu is so small. It's concerned looking around. Nighttime theme it works really well. I can see why this card is expensive, but it doesn't make any sense in my opinion. But it is a very nice illustration. Like besides that, you know, like I think that it looks really good. I don't know. I like the idea. This is my favorite one out of the three in terms of just concept alone. I'm gonna put it in like A tier. I like it a lot. Yeah, like right here, right below the Eevee. I think that's fair. Next is going to be the Pikachu with other Pikachu and Pikachu and Pikachu. This card is cool, but I feel pretty similarly about it to the one with the Psyduck, so I'm not going to sit like, you know, take a bunch of time talking about it. I like it a little bit less than the Psyduck one, but I like it a little bit more than the original one. So it sits right here, B+ tier. Next is going to be the Sprigatito promo. This is the Pokemon Horizon Sprigatito. It's very nicely drawn, actually. I really love the illustration. It's very like well illustrated for sure. It features the trainer from the anime, I don't know her name, sitting behind it like in front of a tree. It's all right. The environment probably is my favorite out of all of the illustrations that we've talked about so far. The illustration itself is like perfect. Like it's really well done. So I'm gonna put it in like B tier, like here. Yeah, that's fine. Next is gonna be the Fuecoco. I feel pretty similarly about this one to the other one. This is by Yasuda Shuhei. This one is by Ito Kyoko. I feel very similarly about this one to the other one. Like the environment isn't super incredible. Features the trainer, features the Pokemon. Obviously, it's very well drawn, but I will put it like right below the Sprigatito. And then finally is going to be the, or actually, there's one more. This is the Quaxley. I like the colors. I like how poppy it is. That's very cool. I think that makes it have a little bit more of an interesting vibe to it. I don't know who the character is in the background at all. I don't know who that is. But the stars and the outlines, you know, like everything in the background, it does a little bit more for me than the other one. So I'm going to put it a little bit higher. Like right here, B+ tier. And then finally, we're going to have the Captain Pikachu. Out of the four of them, I would say this one has one of the more interesting environments because it's taking place on the ship and you can just tell that where it is. The trainer looks like perfect with Pikachu. Like I think they work well together. And I like Pikachu's expression with like its arms crossed. I think that that's a great idea. Out of the four, this is probably my favorite. I'm gonna put it like there's a lot of Pikachu promos we already talked about, huh? That's crazy. I'm gonna put it like up here. Yeah, like fair. There's fair. Next is the Eevee by Haiganosuke. This is a really bad render of it, but it's still a really great looking card. Very simple style, very nicely done. Connects with all the other ones. I think I prefer the Eevee from the ETB. This is actually probably lower on my list. I actually think it's C tier. I'm not a huge fan of it, honestly. Umbreon has a better environment, I would say, with like the tree in the background and the other trees in the other background, you know, far back there. It's cute. It's nicely drawn. I put it like maybe B tier. Yeah. I mean, like probably above the Fuecoco, below the Sprigatito. That's fair. Next is going to be the Leafeon. This one has a more sense of longing, and I think the environment on this one is a little bit better than the Umbreon, but not by much, not anything crazy. So I'm going to put it like bottom of the top of B tier. And then finally is the Sylveon. Out of the four, I'd say this is probably like my least favorite. I put it like the same as Eevee. I don't know. I think they're all beautiful artworks, but just like they're not really my thing personally. Next is going to be the Tarantula. We're finally getting the Scarlet and Violet base set, which is I'm so excited for. Tarantula by Miki Tanaka. This card is perfect. I could think of not a better illustrator for this card. Obviously, Tarantula and Spine Ups are pretty simple Pokemon, so the way that they're drawn by a simplistic artist is perfect. The environment is the only thing that's kind of like lacking in this card, is it's just like a tree. Very, very nicely drawn, well, like pretty big tree to though. I like the skyline. I just wish maybe there was some grass in the background just to like kind of split it up a little bit more. But other than that, I have nothing to complain about. Like, it's very, very well drawn illustration. It's a very simple idea, but it's executed perfectly. I like it a lot, honestly. I really do. And it connects with the Spide Ops to make like a perfect illustration, in my opinion. I'm gonna put it in like A tier. This might be unpopular. Yeah, I like it. It's very cute. Next is gonna be the Dolive by Oswaldo Cato. It's got a lot. It's got a pretty good environment, all things considered. I think I put this card pretty low typically, but it does have a really, really good environment, honestly. I don't know what is going on in the card. I think all like they're collecting olives, obviously, but like I don't know what's in the background. Is that like cotton, or I'm not exactly sure. But obviously it's very, very well drawn. I mean, I can't put it any lower than like B plus tier, I guess. I'm gonna put it like right here. That's fine. Next is gonna be the Toad School by Akira Komayama. Just another really, really good Akira Komayama card. It's got a very great sense of speed as the Pokemon creates a dust cloud behind it, and you have like the kind of speedy effects, like warping effects on the trees. Very nicely done. Obviously, this explosion, the effects are really great. And a good environment too, with like the bushes, the brambly bushes, and then you have like the trees in the background. Very, very nicely done. I think this card is really nice. I'm gonna put it in A plus tier because I really like it. Honestly, it's just very, very well done. Next is gonna be the Scovillain by Kiyotaka Oshiyama. For environment, this card gets a top tier for it's just perfect environment. They're at like some sort of flaming food shop with like Scovillain as a mascot, arguing with each other. I think that's a great idea. It's executed perfectly, and I think you couldn't have picked a better illustrator for something like this. Kiyotaka Oshiyama has this really, really great like intense style of crazy details, which works really well with like the Pokemon on fire, creating these crazy effects. A great background with a lot of personality, which is, I think this card is filled with personality. It's perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing else to say. It's S tier. I really think it is, honestly. Next is going to be this Armarouge by Nagimiso. I think, again, you couldn't have picked a better illustrator for this card because it's got this beautiful kind of environment. Perfect, top tier. Like, honestly, there's nothing wrong with the environment. I love the sky. It's so, so nicely detailed. The Pokemon look so great, like so well drawn. The way that it holds onto the wall, that's like a perfect like message of just like the Pokemon like kind of like taking its first steps out from the rain. Obviously it's a fire type, so it wouldn't want to step out in the rain typically. I don't know, it's really, really well done. The way that the sky reflects on the water on the bottom is so perfect too. Like another S tier card for sure. I love this card so much. Slowpoke by Toshino Aoki. Again, environment, really, really well done. I think that this is a perfect card in terms of environment. I like how Slowpoke is super silly looking in this card. Like, I think that's a very great idea. I love that heavy sense of white in the card because Slowpoke stands out even more for it. Just another really, really great illustration from Scarlet and Violet base set. I'm going to put it in A plus tier. I really like it a lot. I actually like it a little bit more than the Toad School. I like it. I'm going to put it like at the top, near the top of A plus tier. Next is the Clauncher. Again, environment, really, really, really well done in this card. I love the coral kind of, formations in the foreground here, in the background. I love the plants. There's a very, very nice direction in terms of just like the Pokemon cutting down one of the kelp trees in front of it, and you can see that it's cut down a pathway, which is really, really great idea. I love just like how the kelp is drawn. I love how the Pokemon is drawn. I like the very, very heavy sense of blue, but the Pokemon is still very visually distinct. Again, a very, very beautiful illustration from Scarlet and Violet base set. It's going to end up in my A plus tier. I actually like it a little bit more than the Slowpoke. Next is going to be the Wiglet by Yu Irby. Again, environment is perfect. I feel the same way about this as I do the Clauncher. I love the crashing wave. It has a great sense of just like you can really see like not only underground but above ground too. Not ground water, but same thing. Slowpoke Beached is very, very cute. A very awesome like mix of Pokemon in the card. Again, I think this is another A plus tier card. I really like it a lot. I'm gonna put it like right there. Next is gonna be the Dondozo. Environment not quite as strong as it's just like the ocean or just like the water itself. But the illustration is gorgeous, illustrated by Kiragawa, one of my favorite illustrators in the Pokemon TCG. I love like the way that it's kind of like curved, and I love how everything curves around the Pokemon. I think that's a perfect representation of that. I think that it's really, really well done. I don't know. I have no complaints about it. It's just a beautiful card. It kind of reminds me of like the Mewtwo, just as an illustration that's just gorgeous, very very easy to look at, very nice to look at. I'm gonna put it in like actually, yeah, no, A plus tier. I like it a lot. Kind of reminds me of this card. Yeah, I'll put it a little bit higher. Next is gonna be the Pachirisu by Zig. Environment is all right. I like how there's like some stumps, or not just stumps, roots that you can see in the card. The Pokemon rubbing cheeks to create electricity it's a good idea overall. I think that Pachirisu looks cute in the card, but I think this is definitely more of like a B tier card in my opinion. Next is going to be the Palmot. For environment, it's good. I like the hay bales all around. I like how there's like pitchforks in the hay bales of different sizes, different varieties. I like how the Pokemon's evolution line is carrying the hay as Palmot just sits down lazily in the hay. I think that's a really, really great idea to showcase the whole evolution line. Palmo looks very, very unhappy with Palmot, which I think is very, very cute. It's very, very well done. Just another really, really great illustration from Scarlet and Violet base set, illustrated by Koki Saito. Very, very nice. I'm going to put it at the top of A tier. Next is going to be the Drowsy by Tomokazu Kamiya. People obviously love this card. I like this card. It's nice. I like the spotlight idea, like the way that the light kind of shines down on the Pokemon, creating this like very, very bright white light that's very, very piercing, is very cool. The trainers in the card, or just people in the card, all like cast in this pink shadow, is very, very nice. Ferris wheel is great. Sky detail is great. It's got a very, very great sense of detail overall. Very, very nicely drawn as well. Another just A plus tier card from Scarlet and Violet base set. This is not surprising at this point. Next is going to be the Ralts, and this is the Curlia as well, both by Jiro Susumu, telling a story. So you have like the people moving in with the Ralts, showcasing like some quilted, like felted carpets. That's what they're called. Plants, and just like a simplistic kind of vibe that's very, very effective. I love how like everything is so nicely blocked out, and you can see the trainers getting married in the background, which is cool. Cool little detail there. Another A plus tier card for great environment and just like great vibes overall. Yeah, I like it a lot. And then I'm gonna put the other one in the exact same tier, like directly above it, just because it's like a continuation of that story, which is well done. They have a baby in a Ralts like thing, like Ralts outfit, which is so cute. And there's also felted Ralts, which is just well done as well. I think that there's just so much about this card that's really, really well done, and I like it a lot. Next is going to be the Fido by Tika Matsuno. It's really, really well illustrated. I love the idea of the Pokemon looking in a bakery. That's a perfect idea, executed perfectly. I have no complaints. I love how detailed all the different pastries are. I love the Pokemon's reflection in the window. I think that's really well done. It's just a great illustration. Just another really, really great illustration. If I don't have a lot to say about these, it's just because I really like them. If I don't like something, I'll probably explain a little bit more thoroughly, but I think it's another A plus tier card for sure. Next is going to be the Greavard by Soso. Again, environment knocked it out of the park. Well done. I think that the Pokemon looked cute. I like the Gengar little mat. I like the Ghastly, Drifloon, Ditto, Shuppet, Banette in the chest there, in the bottom there. Very, very well done. Obviously, I like it a lot. I have no complaints. Boom, A plus tier. It's really great. I mean, I know I'm putting like most of these cards in A plus tier, but like they all deserve it. Like they all deserve it for their own reasons. Next is going to be the Riolu by Nelnal. Again, environment knocked it out of the park. Very, very much reminds me of this card that I just talked about. Just the Pokemon inside of a very hyper detailed room of like a theme, which is well done. I think, in my opinion. I love how like the training equipment is all completely broken, the room is destroyed, and I like how there's like Metacham on the training equipment, which is really cute. Metacham in the background, Lucario in the background. It's just well done. Like, it's just very, very well done. A plus tier? Yeah, I like it. I put it in the same tier as the Greaver for sure. Yeah, like here, A plus tier, that's fine. Sandile by Nurikabe is really cute. I love the way that the background is blurred because it still showcases what's going on in the background. You have Sandile chasing after two Cacnea. Very, very well done there. The Pokemon is super hyper detailed, which I really appreciate. I think that's an aspect of the card that's really well done. The sand falling down is very nice. It's like a perfect depiction of the Pokemon. I actually really love it. I'm gonna put it in S tier because I like this card so much. It's just perfect. Like, it's really perfect. Next is going to be the Cloth by Mina Nakai. Environment, also pretty good. I like the rocky aesthetic because this is an area in Scarlet and Violet, I'm pretty sure. So I think overall this is well done. I like the Pokemon, how it's kind of got a lot of personality. I think that's nice. Um, I usually put this card pretty low, but I'm actually gonna put it in A tier today. I'm feeling very generous. I'm gonna put it in the same tier as the Spidops, like right there. I mean the what's his name, Tarantula. Next to them, with Bostiff by Okacheke. Environment perfect, just because you have like the Pokemon and the trainer, and you have Arvin just out of sight, so the focus is still definitely on the Bostiff. The food equipment, like the food accessories, and I mean obviously not equipment or accessories. I'm just talking about like the ingredients. That's what I'm talking about. Jeez. The dog bowl, that's really cute. I don't know. It's a really really cool card. Very very nice. I like it. A tier for sure. Yeah, high A tier is good with me. Like right here. I like it. It's nice. Actually like it a little bit more than the Palmont. So I'm gonna put it like right here. Next is gonna be the Bombardier by Shibuzo. Environment a little bit weaker on this card in my opinion. The Pokemon flying is very very nice. I like it. I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I like the clouds. I like the flowers. I think those are nicely done. Overall, probably not my favorite, unfortunately. Like I remember liking it a lot when it came out, but I don't know. It hasn't really like done anything for me recently. Next is going to be the King Gambit by Shin Nagasawa. This card has a very very great sense of symmetry. Environment, very very nice with like those twisty trees in the background. As the idea takes most of the cards, with, like authority up here, so I don't really blame it for not having a lot in the foreground, just because it is using all that space effectively. Again, sense of symmetry is great. I love King Gambit in the illustration, how it does take center stage, but it also has some room to leave for other Pokemon featured in the illustration. Really, really, really well done. I don't know, it's like perfect illustration of this Pokemon. I have no complaints about it. Put it in A plus tier, at the very top of A plus tier. I really like it a lot. Next is going to be Starly by Sayano Misaki. I think this card is pretty nice. It's got a good environment as the Pokemon are, standing on top of a branch. They're all doing their own thing. You get to see the windows, which is nice. You also have this like little barrier here made out of stone. Very, very well done. Overall, I like it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it like pretty high up. No, I'm not actually. I'm gonna put it in like B plus tier. Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna put it in like B tier. Yeah, I feel similarly about it as a Pachirisu. I was gonna put this way higher than I wanted to actually, accidentally. Next is gonna be Squovit by Teizido. Very very well drawn here. You have the Pokemon kind of just sleeping on the couch. I like the glass table. That's really really well drawn. It's alright. Environment is good as it's just inside of a house. I like the fridge with the Pikachu magnet on it. That is something that I do like about the card. But I don't really have a lot to say about it, unfortunately. I don't know. I think some of the other house illustrations did a little bit better. It is just a very chill vibe, which is nice, but I don't know if it doesn't really gel with me as much as some of the other cards do. I'm gonna put it like right here, C tier. Then we will be moving on to Paldea Evolved next, but I think this is where I'm actually going to end off the first part. I know that I only did up to Paldea Evolved, or I only did up to Scarlet and Violet base set, but there's just so many cards for me to go through. Like, it's just going to take me a really long time, so patience, please. I would appreciate that. Sorry, I'm just really tired right now. I think I just can't really record anymore. But regardless, if you enjoyed the first part, please leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know how you feel. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you next part.